Welcome back to Dreamstart Labs. Having set up our group profile, in this video, I want to show you how to set up the constitution for the group in the DreamSave app. We tap on Constitution, and the first question they ask us, does your group use shares? Here, we have to choose the correct option. But note, some groups use different terms for shares such as stamps, stars, and so on. So this is what they are asking here. In the app, they are called shares. You need to be careful with this step because if you make a wrong choice, it will mess up the group's balances. So let's say yes, we want to use shares. We say next. What is the price per share? We have to set this. This is the equivalent of one share in terms of currency. We also set the minimum and maximum shares. If the group has no maximum and minimum, you tick the boxes. So let's set the price per share. Let us say it is 1,000 shillings. Minimum, you notice that it is asking minimum share per meeting, not amount, but share. So since our price per share is 1,000, so the minimum share can say is 1. And then the maximum share, this is the number of shares, the maximum a member can save on a meeting day. So let's say 5, which will be 5,000 shillings for a member according to these settings. So after setting that, we say next. The next one is the loans. So what is the maximum loan amount? In other words, how much money do we give a member according to their savings? If they have a savings, how many times do we multiply that saving to give them a loan? So you can see the default is 3 times. So we leave it at that. But you can change it according to the constitution you have as a group. So let's say next. So now we're on the interest method. We need to set up the way the interest is calculated in the app. Is it applied one time or is it calculated on a monthly basis? For now, we'll go with monthly because that is what the majority of the groups do. So after ticking monthly, then here we need to choose whether it is monthly declining or monthly fixed. But note, you can also tap to show the example. You can tap here and then you see an example of what each means. So for now, we are going to go with monthly fixed. And then we say next. Again, under loan terms, we need to choose all the months that apply here. For example, if in the group there are members who take loans for 2 or 3 months, we can tick both. If more months, then we can tick the corresponding ones. So for now, let's assume that in our group we have members who take loans for 3 months and for 2 months. We tick both that apply. And then we go down and you'll even notice here that you can even add custom term. When you tap here, you can even add any number of months. It goes up to 60 months. So we'll go back and we leave it to our 2 months and then we say next. Now in the next one, we need to set the interest rate. You can set a different one for these 2 months or you can set the same rate. It depends on the group. And then we go next. Do you require cosigners? If we say yes, it will ask us how many. Let's say 2, for example, and we say next. And then is our social fund fixed or flexible? So here we need to choose. If we choose fixed, it means that the members will have to contribute a certain amount of money, and it will be a must. If they fail this week, the balance will be transferred to the following week, and it will be cumulative. If it is fixed, we need to tell the app how much it is fixed at. So let's say fixed, and we say it is fixed at 500 shillings, for example. Okay, that means that each member will have to pay 500 shillings. And if they fail this week, next week it will be cumulative. It will accumulate. Then we go next. Here we can add additional funds. For example, we can add a celebration fund if we want to contribute money to celebrate at the end of the cycle. You can also choose a custom one. When you tick a custom, it will give you an option to put in a particular item. For example, smartphone. If the group wants to save to buy a smartphone, they can just open an account here and call it smartphone under additional funds. You'll notice that a group can also set up a personal account. We shall talk about this also a little bit. So with the personal account, it is a very good feature here. The personal account allows members to save extra amount of money if they want to save more than what is acceptable in our constitution. This amount will be separate from the general group savings. So we just tick the box. So on the savings page, it will appear down there as a personal account on each member. So we say next. So we need to set the amount of money that we already have in these funds that we have created. For example, in the celebration fund, we can say maybe we have 100,000 so far. And in the smartphone, we can say we have 50,000 so far. And we say next. Then it is asking us which fund should income from fines be added. We have to indicate where the income from fines should be. We leave it there, which is the most common in loan funds. And then we say next. And lastly, we need to show whether we are allowing the app to send notification and receipts to members. DreamSave app has a cool feature whereby at the end of the meeting, members will be able to get notifications about their individual savings, but not group savings, but their personal individual savings. So we leave it checked yes, and then we say done. And there we are done with the constitution. Thank you for watching.